So thanks everybody out there staying patient that's watching this on the other channels. Anyway, tons of stuff to get into. It's Friday night. We made it. And, we were just talking yesterday about the Ebola, trying to hire the somebody to practice for, all the big Ebola scares, the monster in the room, crisis actors, and all that kind of stuff. Well, then just today, actually this came out late last night after the show, FDA approves Ebola vaccine. Now, Ebola is one of the most feared viruses. It's feared because they make it, they want to, it's all fear porn. The Food and Drug Administration just approved a vaccine to prevent it for the first time in the United States. Every year they come out with one of these new viruses. Then they come out with the vaccine, and they're all man-made, regardless of what they say. Problem, reaction, solution. The vaccine is called Evibro and was designed by Merck. We know who they are. Ebola cases are rare in the U.S. and typically involve healthcare workers treating those that have been infected by the virus. Remember when they brought the guy back up to Omaha and treated him there? I just had to be working up in that area. I didn't fall into the fear porn. I just stayed away from everybody. Anyway, in 2014, West Africa surpassed 11,000 deaths. It's still going strong. But whenever they come out with these vaccines, they're going to tell you they're inactive and all that stuff. But just like what's going on down in Texas, despite 100% vaccine requirement, whooping cough outbreak forces closures in Houston schools. They say the vaccines are 80 to 90% effective, according to the Alphabet Gang Centers for Disease Control Prevention, but yet they're having an outbreak. Just like with the measles, just like with Zika, just like with Lyme disease. We know these are bioweapons being forced on everybody to scare everybody into taking these vaccines. But once you take the vaccines, then you're carrying the Ebola virus. You're a walking zombie with it. Man, it just drives me nuts when I see this stuff. All the links are in the description if you want to read more into these. And at the same time, we have pig Ebola is running wild in Indonesia. It's already killed a quarter of the pigs. In fact, I think this went on down in Australia too. I mean, this has been going on everywhere. So the global pig population is being absolutely decimated by the disease that they say does not have a cure. African swine fever, also commonly referred to as pig Ebola, is raging out of control in dozens of countries all over the globe. Has a mortality rate of 100%. And once it hit an area, even the pigs are all able to survive the disease, are killed off in order to prevent the spreading. Unfortunately, swine fever just continues to pop up in more locations. Nearly 270 million people in Indonesia that are heavily dependent on the pork as a source of protein. But of course, the same thing could be said about all the other countries where the African swine fever is currently raging. Now, they're calling this a biblical proportions. It's a crisis of biblical proportions. In fact, the estimated epidemic has already killed about 1/4 of the pigs in the whole world. This is going on not with just the pigs, man. We've seen them burning up the chickens, and man, there's been so many animals that they've been taking out the cows, drowning the cows. Over in China, remember they killed the pigs and then they let the pig blood run right down the river. The whole river turned red from the blood. So these people that are supposedly in power just make things worse. They can't be trusted at all. None of these government agencies can be trusted. Here we go. This come out back in 2018. We show these ship tracks all the time in all the waters around the globe. And what they're doing, they're burning the bunker fuel. We call it the bunker fuel. Hey, thanks out there, Akeisha. Merry Christmas. Now, what they never tell you about this stuff is it's the most toxic emissions on the planet. Only 13 of these ships put off more toxic emissions than all the cars combined on the planet. Just 13 of them, but yet we see, way more than that out here in the Pacific, in the Atlantic, in the Indian Ocean, down in Australia. We see them everywhere. We see them all year round, but this article right here coming from the NASA Lives. In August 2018, long, narrow clouds stood out against the backdrop of the marine clouds blanketing much of the North Pacific Ocean known as ship tracks. The distinctive clouds from when the water vapor condenses around the tiny particles emitted by the ships in their exhaust. Ship tracks typically form in areas where thin, low-lying stratus and cumulus clouds are present. Some particles generated by the ships, especially the sulfates, are soluble in water and serve as seeds around the cloud droplets. Clouds infused with the ship exhaust have more and smaller droplets than unpolluted clouds. As a result, the light hitting the polluted clouds scatters in many directions, making them appear especially bright and thick. That's because they are. Now the somewhere in here they say that it typically is in the summer, but that's just completely not true. I'm trying to see where it said that. Okay, the large number of ships traveling in the North Pacific combined with the low clouds make ship tracks more common here than anywhere else in the world. Not true. Roughly 2/3 of the world's ships are found in the Pacific, according to the study. Other ship track hotspots were in the North Atlantic, off the west coast of southern Africa, off the west coast of South America. Yeah, here's the big lie. The research team also detected a clear seasonality in their occurrence. They most often observed in May, June, and July, and only occasionally present in December, January, and February. Ship traffic is roughly consistent throughout the year. See, they go all year long, and it has nothing to do with the time of the month. It's if they're burning the bunker fuel or if they're burning the better biodiesel. This bunker fuel that causes the ship tracks is a different mix of fuel. They have several different mixes of fuel, thousands and thousands of gallons on these ships. Cruise liners, they run the same thing. The cargo ships, military ships. When they get out here in the ocean, they turn on the nasty stuff, the super thick stuff that has to be heated to go through the fuel lines. So more lies coming out of NASA. And then here you go. Here's another day of aerosols on Earth. Now this picture right here is representing the aerosols in the sky. This picture is actually from August 23rd, 2018, and they're talking about the giant swirls of the sea salt aerosols, the blue, which often loft into the air as part of the sea spray. The black carbon particles are red among the particles emitted by fires, vehicle, factory emissions, and other common source. See, they try to make that look worse so that, you know, the bunker fuel don't look that bad, even though it's, you know, thousands of times worse than all the cars, the factories, and all that. Particles in a model classified as dust are shown in purple. You can click on this picture and really zoom in on it. This is just one day. Now, I've had animated versions of this, and they like hit me with a content thing. Look, you had a little cyclone hurricane going right below Hawaii there. Of course, we had the fires. We have methane leaks out here. We got the Sahara dust. See, the Sahara dust is coming out in the purples. Then you got this kind of pollution that's going on that, you know, you hear very little about. There are more than 300 military bases with possible toxic forever chemical contamination. Now, I've been talking about this for a long time. Now, they're blaming this on water contamination caused by runoff from firefighting foam used in response to the vehicles and aircrafts, according to the Environmental Work Group. Well, you know, in their little map here, they're only showing the military bases. How about all the fire departments that are out here? So if you put the fire departments that are using the very same foam, this is the same stuff that's in Teflon pans, among many other things that we use daily. And, you know, they're not even showing you the real extent of it. So just more toxic stuff ruining the water aquifers. Now, up in Iceland, you know, we can't really see them on the worldview map because it's dark, you know, as far as that, because of the winter time and all that stuff. But man, they got just hammered. They had the 150 mile an hour winds, tons of snow, and the immigration center disappears under the snow. They'd never had snow on this scale before. Located in two-story houses that almost disappeared under the thick blanket of snow. When they built these houses, it never occurred to them they'd had to shovel off the roofs at 30 foot high on the gables of the biggest house. So this is one of the houses. You go down, here's what it looked like before. Here's the house. So man, that's buried. Look at that guy right there. See if I can make that picture bigger. So that's some crazy stuff there. Crazy amounts of snow. This is where they had to try to get the 30 horses, you know, unburied out of the snow. Some of them died. What happened before this storm? Ship tracks in the Atlantic. Tons of aerosols being deployed. We see this every time. Now you got Samsung. They've been trying to get where that you can control the TV with your brain. Now they've been trying to do this for years, since like 2013, and they just keep getting closer and closer to doing it. And there was a reason I wanted to bring that up, but here's, I think I got my articles a little mixed up here, but anyway, we'll just go through them. Apple has a secret team working on satellites to beam data to devices. So Apple Incorporated has a secret team working on satellite technology that the iPhone maker could use to beam internet services directly to the devices, bypassing wireless networks. You know, this is just 5G being beamed down on us. And we're going to get into just here in a little bit how dangerous this technology is. Several articles coming out on this. Just come out today. Apple reportedly working on satellite technology, direct wireless. Like there's going to be nowhere to hide. You know, they're dumping these nanoparticulates, nanobots in the air. So you're breathing these in. They're going into your bloodstream. and you're going to be able to be tracked no matter where you go. Also, Samsung's warning. Our smart TVs record your living room chatter, and they say that's technically incorrect because in the small print on the smart TVs, it also has voice recognition system that not only captures your private conversations, but also passes this off to third parties. There was a story a while back that came out about people actually are listening to them, just like the Alexas and all these other in-home technologies. You have actual people listening to the conversations that are going on in your homes. Now, I know there's ways to disable this stuff, but I'm sure you got to read the fine print. Here it is, another article. You may soon be able to control TV with your brain. So, more weird stuff. Transhumanism. You know, like, and this started back before 2013. Now, here comes a Journal of Geophysical Research on the Atmospheres. You know, you hear us talking a lot about the wind turbines and the infrasound that comes off these things that a lot of people are sensitive to. Well, now they're saying that these wind turbines, they're discharging lightning. Lightning discharges produced by the wind turbines. So new observations with a 3D lightning mapping array at high speed video are presented and discussed. The first set of observations shows that certain thunderstorm conditions, wind turbine blades can produce electric discharges at regular intervals. You know, this is what we've been talking about the pulses. The NexRads are pulsing energy off, affecting the storms. You have the wind turbines here. These are all not for wind energy. These are for weather control. So here's an example of lightning damage to the blades of 2 wind turbines due to a winter storm in northeast Spain in 2009. I reported on an article not too long ago how it takes about $50,000 to try to dispose of just one of these. And they're like stacking up everywhere because it's so hard to bury them. They don't disintegrate. They're out of carbon fiber. So they have to cut them up in chunks, adding more of the particulates up into the sky. I should have actually brought that article back up, man. It's crazy how much money it takes to bury these things. How are they saving money on energy? Just the pure cost of putting fabricating a wind turbine. And then when it blows up or catches on fire, you got to try to bury the damn thing, and it's made out of something that don't disintegrate. This is in no way to help the climate whatsoever. This is all just another part of the weather control system and the sky grid and the internet of everything. That's all it is. Supreme Court upholds landmark Berkeley cell phone radiation right to know ordinance and rejects industry's appeal. So the U.S. Supreme Court rejected a free speech challenge brought by the telecommunications industries against Berkeley, California's cell phone right to know ordinance, which I'm not going to get all too deep into this now. The Kafka Witz World did a video, I don't know if it's today or yesterday, with somebody who has done extensive research on this, and they were talking at a committee meeting. And I don't remember if I got that link up or the video up or anything. If we run across it, I'll show you. Go check out her channel. But it's about an hour-long meeting, like a town hall type meeting thing. And man, it explains everything about this Wi-Fi, what it's doing to the people. Had 2 doctors there. So definitely stuff to listen to. You also got this, your government wants to place sensors in state homes to help and enhance their performance. You know, they already got the radars that can see through your houses. You've got all the LED, the Wi-Fi, and all that stuff already in the houses. They're going to make it where there's nowhere to hide. So here's a PDF. Let me get a drink here. The Paris Agreement and Climate Geoengineering. This was a research roundtable on the global climate change governance geoengineering. And right here it's just kind of showing you, who's signed, who's unsigned. They're saying the emissions by China's 20.09%, United States 17.89. These numbers are definitely skewed. Where's India at? I don't see them. India and China are way worse. I mean, we can go look at the maps and prove that. But to get into the climate geoengineering, options involving large-scale engineering of the environment to combat, counteract the effects of changes in atmospheric chemistry. Well, they're the ones that are changing the chemistry already. So they're talking about the SRM, the solar radiation management, aimed to reflect a small portion of the sun's energy back into space, counteracting the temperature rise caused by increased levels of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere that absorb the energy. Well, that only works during the day. What happens is at night, they're trapping the heat in. Just like when you listen to your weatherman and you got cloudy temperatures and then the clouds are going away and the temperatures are going to drop overnight. That's because there's nothing trapping the heat in. It goes up into the air. So more lies, carbon dioxide removal. Here's the thing too. If you're going to be engineering the climate, trying to mimic a volcano, what happens if a big volcano goes off at the same time that you're injecting all these particulates up into the sky? Automatic day after tomorrow scenario. It's bound to happen. Here we are talking about the stratospheric aerosols. And of course they don't show you that the heat's being trapped in by the cloud layer. Here there is clear evidence from many large past volcano eruptions that this mechanism can cool the planet and produce global cooling to a scale of about 0.05 Celsius. What happens when a volcano goes off? Here we are with the cloud whitening, the cloud brightening, sulfate particulates, and they're already doing all this. This is already being done. Here they go, calling it marine cloud brightening. It's the bunker fuel. You got the black carbon dust coming out of the back of the plane. You notice they're using a commercial airliner for the depiction. Reflective buildings. Yeah, that's another thing. Why do they make the roads blacktops? Why do they make the roofs black? If they were so worried about it, they'd be planting trees to filter the air. They'd make all the roads a lighter color. They'd make all the building roofs a lighter color. They'd plant stuff on top of the roofs, but they don't do that. They also want to put the reflectors and diffraction gratings in space. These are the space mirrors. These are like the PG&E, the Solarian company. These are what they're beaming down the radiation from the sun. So they say they're going to try to cool the planet. They say they're going to reflect the sun back out to space, but what they can do is they can spin this thing right towards the planet and burn the planet up, just like the Geostorm movie. They show us this stuff just as head fakes. we seen in India, they planted millions and millions of trees, and I actually watched the particulates go down over there. I mean, they used to be pretty bad, just as bad as China, but the trees have helped. But what do? We clear cut the forest. We don't plant trees. We're cutting the trees down for the 5G. It's just unbelievable what these maniacs, psychopaths are getting away with, and people just stand back and believe this stuff. And, you know, people aren't going to wake up. And then when you see these mainstream people come out, you know, they're asking, how much will you pay to fix the climate? See, that's what it's all about. They, you know, on top of the eugenics program and the depopulation program, they want to drain you of every little penny you got so that they can control the food. They control the food, the water, they control you. Now, this is just this has got everything in it. These links are already in the description. So you can read all into the information on that. This article come out, I think Billy Hayes out there might have posted this, or somebody did out on Facebook, and I grabbed it. 50 years after how to wreck the environment, anthropogenic extinction of life on Earth. Now, this was 50 years ago. A geoscientist, Gordon J.F. MacDonald, penned a book chaptered How to Wreck the Environment, in which he described how a nation might alter the environment so as to covertly inflict harm on an enemy nation. The objective of this is to see how it is now. So particulate trails occurring with increasing frequency, forensic scientific investigations implicate toxic coal fly ash as a main constant. Around 2010, the aerial particulate spraying ramped up to near global levels, presumably a secret international agreement mandated by the aerial spraying as a sunshade for Earth. However, aerial spraying, rather than cooling, heats the atmosphere, retards Earth's heat loss, and causes global warming. MacDonald also discussed destroying the atmospheric ozone and triggering earthquakes, volcano eruptions, activities now possible with the high-frequency ionospheric heaters. So the conclusion, the U.S. military's ongoing decision to weaponize the environment for national security purposes was accurately forecasted by MacDonald over 50 years ago. The only thing he failed to realize is that national militaries could and would be co-opted by a secret international agreement, the consequence of which, however unintentional, was to wage war on planet Earth and its national biochemical processes, unless and until politicians, news media, scientists, and others in our society face the truth of what's happening, that's happening before their very eyes, demand to halt these covert technology activities, we will march onward to the anthropogenic cause mass extinction. So this guy, he predicted this 50 years ago, and we're seeing it right now. I mean, this is what is actually happening. Look at the Georgia Guidestones. Boy, that's a grid. So very good article here. PDF, another PDF drop, which will be in the show links if you want to read the whole article. Now, Public Law 105-85 allows chemtrails, biological weapons testing on civilians without explicit consent. This was a public law, November 18th, 1997. Excuse me there. Use of human subjects for testing a chemical or biological, restrictions on the human subjects for testing of chemical or biological agents, prohibited activities. You know, they've been testing on us forever. Go back and look at all the projects they did in the Vietnam War, or what they did off the coast of California, what they did off the coast of Oregon with the lithium sprays, all the, bio warfare testing with the Lyme disease, the radiation that they sprayed on civilians in St. Louis, parts of Texas. I mean, it just goes on forever. They've never stopped using us as lab rats. And now they're doing it with the vaccines, the chemtrails, all the eugenics programs, the GMO foods. That's what we're dealing with. Here's another article on the salt spray may prove most feasible geoengineering. The geoengineering technique might have some unintended benefits like more rainfall. These are older articles that are proving what's going on today. And, this is where they're talking about the spraying the salt water into the air. The water would evaporate, leave behind the sea salt particles, which may be lifted into the clouds, increasing their albedo. They changed the name of chemtrails a while back to albedo modification. That's what they do. They change the name all the time to throw people off. Hey, thanks out there. I haven't been looking there at Super Chat. Hey, thanks out there, Mazzy. And, man, I missed somebody there. Let me see if I can move my broadcaster here so I can see you guys. Takes out there my Nana, Mazzy Stars, plays in the dirt. ASCII Salandra, hey, much love. Thanks out there for supporting us. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so now I can see. Like I said, all these links will be in. Here's more on the ship tracks. I thought I had all these ship tracks articles put together, but here's another one. This page, okay. On March 4th, 2009, the skies over the Northeast Pacific Ocean were streaked with clouds that form around the particles in the ship exhaust. So right here they show you, here let me see if I can click that, make that bigger. This is what we're showing each night. You see these are the lines of the bunker fuel being deployed, the ship tracks. So this has been going on, ever since they cheapened the, here's one from the Atlantic. They're everywhere, man. And they only do them before major storm systems, major hurricanes, fires. Like when we document these things, we find them before every major fire, every major weather system, just like the one that hit Iceland, just like the ones that hit the UK, just like the ones that are hitting up in Washington and British Columbia. They're all connected together. They're all multifaceted. They're all for different things. We have 2 bunker fuel ships that crashed today. Carnival cruise ship crash into each other. I don't know if these guys were drunk. I don't know what happened, but man, it really ripped the backside of that boat out. So it's one person got hurt. I mean, what was these guys doing so close? There was people up here filming it up above that, which it could have collapsed, fell in the water, got sucked up into the propulsion system. So right here there's 3 cruise liners right here. If it takes 13 cruise liners to put off all the emissions of every car on the planet, that's like almost a third of the carbon emissions right here, sitting out here off the coast of Cozumel, Mexico. They don't burn the bunker fuel when they're up against the coast. They turn that crap on when they get out to sea. Another video on it. Okay, now here's a video. I watched it on Cafe, but I think I clicked a link. Let me post this into the chat. So everybody should listen to this. If you're over on Facebook, if you could post that into the Facebook thing, and I'll pin it to the comments sometime tomorrow. And I can't remember the name of the lady or nothing like this, but I did watch this today, and it's very eye-opening. And testifying in the opposition of the 5G in Michigan. I think this is back in 2018 or something. Or it says December 18th, but I think it's actually older than that. Very eye-opening information on the 5G and what it's doing to the kids, what it's doing to the people. Here's the company SkyGrid. Urban Air Mobility in 2020, 4 trends to watch. Well, what this is SkyGrid, Skynet, part of it, the Internet of Everything. See, they want all these drones flying around doing surveillance, delivering stuff. But this program that they're building, this SkyGrid program, is the same program that runs the chemtrail planes. Maybe a different company, but it's the same program. So we'll be keeping our eyes on this. Here's more evidence. Undeniable smart meters cause massive changes to the heart. Look at all the issues that had come up since they started with the 3G. Hey, thanks out there, Michael. Boom Friday. That's right. And Karen out there. Much love out there. So, you know, these smart meters are not only charging you more money, they're also putting off dangerous radiation, microwave transmissions. And, you know, you can buy stuff to cover them and all that. But, I mean, you know, with them beaming this stuff down from the satellites, they're beaming it from every cell phone tower. It's like, you know, we're going to have to come up with ways to try to block this stuff. Now, here's some 5G blocking paint. I don't know about this company. I just happened to pull this up. Looks like they sell the 5G hat, you know, EMF hats to try to block the shield. And I don't know anything about these products. I just happened to come across this article just right for the show, so I figured I'd bring it up in here because I've never seen one of these sites like this. But of course, I haven't looked at them. But this link is in the description if you want to check them out. Like I said, I don't know who they are. I haven't tried the products. The only products I've tried is the ones that we go over in the health calls on Tuesday night, and I know they do help. All right, so let's take a look at the worldview map. So they say that the bunker fuel operations normally happen in the summer. Well, here we got an operation right here off the coast of the Bajas. We got a brand new operation just straight north of Hawaii. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a few up in this area. You actually have chemtrails and bunker fuel right here in this area. And why we get the frequency lines. Hey, thanks out there, Jay Wiggins. Yeah, they're definitely trying to cook us. Here's a small bunker fuel. So we actually have just mega bunker fuel operations out here today. So that tells you right there there's going to be some weather systems coming in very soon. You know, the other day we found a bunker fuel ship up here in Lake Superior. All right, let me take these layers off. Now, they're just, not only do we have the bunker fuel operations going on, we got, yeah, I can see one right there. Here's one right here. So tons of them are out here today. But the aerosols that are being deployed from the sky are rampant right now. Like we went yesterday from like none hardly. And now they're all off the coast of California, all over California. California's getting bombarded, waxed, all the way up to Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Nevada. I'm not really seeing a whole lot up in Canada, Montana, and it looks like we got a small new, I can't really tell. I'm not even going to call that one yet. So all the spraying that was down here in the Bajas, look, it's all shifted way up north. They're steering the atmospheric rivers. And then, of course, you got the southern spray. This is the system that's going to bring in some powerful storms of Florida. But if you zoom in down here, man, everything's getting waxed down here. Mississippi, Florida, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri. This whole thing is artificial clouds through Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina, Georgia. If you're not getting it right now, you're going to get it tomorrow because they're pulling this thing straight east. If I remember right, there was just some big old fat liners. Yeah, here they are. Look at this. In Alabama. Look at these two big fat liners. Compared to all the other ones, these were some super dumps. So yeah, man, Georgia's getting just completely gridded out with the synthetic clouds out off the coast now. All up to South Carolina. See, it's all moving east when I click that layer. Look at that. So the sky was clear till all these aircraft started deploying. And then look what it turns into. So it turns into that. It turns into a weather system. It just grew the cloud formations by double, maybe triple. So we'll try to take a look at the forecast models here in a minute. Just kind of, I didn't get to go through this real heavy. They've been spraying over the Bahamas quite a bit. Maybe that's, and then we got a little spraying operation way down here, down in the south part. Yeah, see, they're going to pull this atmospheric river right up into the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to see some flooding rains. The only thing you can hope is that they overseed the clouds. If you overseed, then it won't rain. I mean, if they spray too many particulates in there, it's not going to come down. It's just too much. We've seen it a few times. I mean, they're pretty good at what they're doing. I think they're pretty much 100% in full control of the weather. You know, we're not even looking at the ground-based cloud ionizers. We're not looking at the water evaporation pumps at the power stations. We're not looking at the ionospheric heaters today. I mean, we're just talking about just the aerosols that they're deploying worldwide. They've been spraying really hard down in Argentina and even way down south by Falkland Islands. See if I can check the layers here. Yeah, so pulling the atmospheric rivers in, man. They're steering all the rivers in the sky are completely being steered, manipulated. You know, they've been trying to green the desert. They've actually been doing a pretty good job. Flooding rains, you know. Aerosols all over the desert. So here comes that storm that got pulled over right where the aerosol. I mean, we can go back and watch where they spray, and then this moisture gets pulled right into where they're spraying. So it looks like we got some kind of chemtrail fog over Island. Let's see if that'll load up. That could be snow on the ground. Let me see. Yeah, that could be snow. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably snow. Look at the waves, man. UK getting slammed right now. So yesterday they had all the aerosols going through Sweden. Same place all the clouds have been pulled to. And they're still super seeding down here in the Mediterranean Sea, in the Tyrrhenian Sea. Over Turkey is getting waxed right now. Istanbul getting waxed. The Black Sea, complete grid out. I mean, complete grid out up here in the Black Sea. Click that layer. Yeah, they were just back and forth, super grids. So, you know, we're just showing you almost every continent has the aerosol program in place right now. So this goes right over Turkey and all these, and then right on down off the coast. So you got mega liners. You can see the normal white puffy clouds, but then you get the jet streaks, the chemtrails being deployed all over the place. You know, people who want to believe these are contrails, that's fine. Believe they're contrails. Well, we got a serious situation with the contrails blocking the sunlight, creating fake clouds all over the place. We got a new little dust storm. Looks like a real small, super strong one here off Saudi Arabia. We've seen the weather generators over here. There's actually a few of them. That's right where they're wanting to put the new weather generator right here in Jeddah. Now, we've seen this dust the other day get blowed up and spun into like a dust cyclone, man. And it was the very same time that the weather generators over here in Dubai were on. And it looks like they're getting ready to start a new operation because here comes the aerosols. So they're starting to pump the aerosols again, and then they'll pull the moisture up and bring it right on over into Iran. Look at these grids here in India. Like you'd think India has so much pollution, they don't need to do solar geoengineering. That's because it's not solar geoengineering, it's terraforming the planet. So you got tons of X formations, real thick liners. Look at the shadow coming off this aerosol. So hey, thanks out there, Jay Wiggins. Oh, wow. 3 workers die after working 5G ambulances. Man, I don't doubt that a bit. We're seeing electricians that are working on this 5G that are committing suicide. I mean, the rates have been skyrocketing. So India has a mega spraying operation right now, like big time. So all over India is getting waxed. Let me back this out just so I can kind of get a... Yeah, it's really strange. Here lately, they're not deploying aerosols over here around Japan for the last 2 weeks. So pretty strange, man. They've had, you know, normal weather for a while. Looks like Guam's all clear. You got some aerosols down to the south of you. So it looks like they're creating a storm here around Papua New Guinea. And then we got all the stuff going on down here in Australia. We got the mega fires. We got mega fires. We got aerosols being deployed. More new fires to the south. So it looks like these fires are really ramping up since yesterday. I'm just trying to check all the layers. So look, these fires are creating their own thunderstorm clouds again. But here's the thing with all the particulates in the sky, when these things produce these little thunderstorms from all the heat, it creates lightning. What's the lightning do? It starts more fires. Looks like they could be hitting us with some frequencies. So, I mean, this coast has looked like this for weeks. More weather being created from the heat of the fires, the aerosols, the fire accelerants. You know, think about it like this. Have you ever looked up the ingredients in sparklers or chaff or anything like that? It's the same ingredients that are in the chemtrails. So they're actually cloud seeding the fire smoke. So we got tons of airplanes out here cloud seeding into the smoke. And look what it does. It starts creating a weather system. So these fires are still looking really bad, almost completely surrounding Sydney. We got more weird looking smoke coming up. Almost a rust colored smoke. I mean, look at this, man. This is just ridiculous what is going on in Australia. I mean, they're being attacked. Their water's being sold off. Properties are being burned. Toxic air all over the place. We'll go down here and check New Zealand. Just kind of looking around over here, see if we can see just what's happening pretty much everywhere. Just trying to get all this. All right, so we probably got through this pretty good. Let's go take a little bit of look at what it looks like in motion. Now I got this running really slow here. I'm just gonna, so hopefully you guys can see all these chemtrails that are being deployed in all these states. Now you got a picture, so it happens to reload. You got a picture. If all these planes wasn't up here deploying this, there would be clear skies right here. This would have been all clear skies. These are all man-made airplane clouds, every bit of it. So that is all completely fabricated. I'd have zoom in on some of these just really close. It might come out a little blurry, but you should be able to see them better. So now we're pretty much zoomed in as far as we can go. And you can just see these are all aircraft clouds. These are in no way natural. They wouldn't be here if it wasn't for these hundreds and hundreds of planes and drones deploying this stuff. Let's just take a look over Mississippi, Louisiana. Man, that's just amazing spraying operation right there. Let's go ahead and go up the coast because we know it's going to be coming up this way. Yeah, that's right. How dare they? How dare they put the little kids up there to sell their agendas? So you had tons of grid. See, it's just going on everywhere. All out ahead of this. It's in no way a natural storm. It's been manipulated. Look, you can even see a big long line right over the center of the storm. All man-made. Let's go check California. We know they were getting bombarded. You know, and a lot of us notice when they're using these aerosols, they're mixing it with different things. What I mean by that is sometimes they, you know, when they say it's flu season, that could be what's coming out of the plane. Could be viruses. You know, sometimes when they spray this stuff, it just drains the crap out of you. You know, when you're driving around during the day, if you're feeling really tired, look at everybody else. You'll see people yawning everywhere. You know, they're different mixes, and they make us feel different ways. So I really want to try to go out off the coast, because I know there was a big operation there. See if we can pick it up. Well, that's, yeah, I mean, all the ingredients, you know, it's to me, it's like thermite. That's why the fires are burning hotter. That's why they're melting aluminum wheels, and, you know, it's not really burning the forest. It's burning everything but the forest. I want to look at this with the microphysics. If I can get it to load here. See if it pops up anywhere. Like, I can already see the bunker fuels operations that are up north. So you can see these long, skinny yellow lines, if you can see them. Some up there, that's the bunker fuel operations. The dark lines, that's the aerosols from the air. That's the chemtrails. I know it's probably hard to see till the video processes and stuff, but yes, you got a big X of ship tracks. You got them all kind of sporadic out here. They're getting ready to break off a little pressure of the high pressure, turn it into a low pressure weather system, and that's exactly what they're doing. Let's just go look at the tropical tidbits real quick. Check the current storms. So we got to invest. That's the one we seen that was brewing down south. So we got a couple brewing. Don't look like they're going to amount to a whole lot here. No land targets. Looks like Madagascar is going to get hit again from the other side this time. All right, let's just go look. I want to see what kind of moisture we're looking at for California. I know the 22nd, 21st, going into the 22nd should be a really bad storm down here, and we're seeing the aerosols now. We've seen all the aerosols over Washington, Oregon. Look at this stream of moisture coming in. So yeah, Northern California, Oregon, here comes that storm on the 22nd. I mean, we're up into the purples here. You know, that's a large amount of rain. We'll check the rain amounts. So they're actually showing it not as big, but it's covering a bigger area now. Because at first that was going to be this little spot right here really pops up. The weird thing, where's the pressure on it? 1050. More snow for the California mountains. You know, then this thing's going to turn into, wow, it's actually going back south. Now, I have never seen that. So what is going on with that? So this storm's actually going to go backwards from any other storm. Most of the time these storms go up. This one's going to go back down. Maybe they're going to recycle that storm. Look, you got snow showing up in Southern California here on the 26th. Ooh, we got some pretty good severe weather coming in here on the 28th. Let's put this on total precipitation amount so we can kind of get an idea what these next couple storms coming in are going to be producing. All right, so here's over the next 24 hours. And this is going to show us like how much rain we're going to get. It looks like they're using rain retardant at Florida. It looks like they're going to cut the rain off. So apparently they don't want that storm to hit Florida. Because, I mean, you're up into the 20 inches of rain. And then all of a sudden it's dying out. So the models have definitely changed. But it's keeping a pretty good amount of moisture right there in South Carolina, parts of Georgia. But really, this will probably go back to the original 16-day forecast, because it always does. Like, no matter how much this thing changes during the days leading up, it usually goes right back to that 16-day forecast. That thing is just riding right down the coast. Check that out. Look at the rain is going right down the coast, not really going into the land. So this day here, you got some mass moisture coming for the BC, part of Washington. Let's check out what the snow is going to do. We've been getting some incredible amounts of snow up in British Columbia. And now over in Iceland. Just bring this up. So it's actually wound down a little bit. So that's good. Yeah, all the aluminum that's coming out of these aircraft. Here's the table. Here's the elements detected in jet fuel. This is right from where you can find out what's in the jet fuel. And what they're running now is the JP8. You can see the aluminum is at 9,360 parts per billion. That's why the chemtrails are so bad now. You go back to when they were using a JP5, 2,000 parts per billion, and now it's 9,000. That's just a crazy increase in aluminum. Same thing with the barium. It went from 9 parts per billion to 38. Calcium went from 5,256 to 31,120. So they're spraying tons of calcium. You got the chromium. Went from 9 to 18 parts per billion. The copper actually went down from 82 down to 6. The iron has gone way up from 210 to 1144. The lead has gone up by double. Magnesium has gone up incredibly amount. This is a fire agent. So it went from 1,056 up to 5,840. You know, nickel's gone up, or nickel stayed the same, but the manganese has gone up. The potassium has gone up. Strontium went from 70 parts per billion to 351 parts per billion. And then here's the big one, the sulfur. The blocking sulfur went from 450 to 1690. Tin has gone up by over double. Titanium has gone up, 1,000%. It went from 35 parts per billion to 1,056. Vanadium went from 3 to 18. Zirconium went from 14 to 39. The only thing I don't see in this is the microplastics. So anyway, guys, I'm going to keep this video short tonight. I mean, I think we've already went an hour. Yeah, we've already gone an hour. So anyway, guys, much love out there. I'm going to jump off here, try to get rested up. A lot of stuff to do tomorrow. So much love out there. Be safe. No fear, man. We got to fight these guys any way we can. information. That's one way we can fight. And just waking the people up. Wake them up on the 5G. Wake them up on the weather warfare. Wake them up on the propaganda that's coming out of the news stations. Anyway, guys, much love. Here we go. We'll play a song called Rise. And we'll catch you tomorrow, God willing. Here we go. Turn it up. Armor up.